All right, friends. Picture a lazy afternoon, the kind where the world tilts into a hush. A porch swaying just enough to whisper old stories. Sunlight filtering through linen curtains. The scent of fresh earth from potted plants drifting across the room.
And tucked in every corner, a snoozing dog, a sunbeam-stretched cat, and the soft sigh of leaves rustling just outside.
No rush. No noise. Just being.
There's this creaky old porch swing at my family's cottage. Every summer morning, I sit there with my cat, Junie. She curls into the crook of my arm, purring so softly I can feel it more than hear it. We just sit, for half an hour. No words, no phone, just the rhythm of her breath and the swing's quiet sway.
My pup, Digby, has this ritual too. Every night, around 9 o'clock, he hops up onto the bench seat at the front window, rests his chin on the sill, just watches. Sometimes, I sit behind him, lean my head next to his, and together, we keep silent company with the stars and the streetlights.
I used to keep a book by my bedside, but these days, I keep a sketch pad. My dog, Luma, rests her head across my lap while I draw. I never get much finished, but the act of sitting there, breathing in sync, feels more creative than anything I've ever written.
It's funny people think the best memories are the big ones. Trips, toys, holidays. But I swear it's those quiet minutes, those slow, golden minutes of stillness with your pet, that live in your heart the longest.
It's where trust lives, isn't it? When there's no doing, only being. When they choose your lap, or your pillow, or your porch swing, and say without words, "This is our spot."
I think those quiet times teach us something about love too. That it doesn't always have to shout. Sometimes it whispers. And it still means everything.
There's magic in the ordinary. You just have to be still enough to notice it.
And pets. They're the best teachers of stillness. So today, if you can, just sit with them. No agenda. No distractions. Let the quiet say what words never could. Because sometimes the soul doesn't need action, just a warm body beside it.
And maybe a sunbeam.
The joy of doing nothing turns out to be everything.
And it's a joy we can learn. Every time a paw finds our lap.
Next up, let's talk about unhurried living, the beautiful art our pets already know better than we do.
All right, friends, imagine a sun-drenched square, a tiled table humming with color, and a breeze that smells like rosemary and fresh bread.
And in the middle of it all, a clay bowl stamped with the words, "Bem-vindo, Patton-has." Welcome, little paws.
And maybe a golden retriever dozing under the cafe table. Not a care in the world, just the soft pluck of a guitar somewhere nearby.
That's exactly what I found in Portugal. Everywhere we went, bowls of fresh water, shaded chairs, and pets treated like the VIP guests they are. I'll never forget walking into a plaza in Porto. Not only did every cafe have a pet water bowl, but there was a golden lab curled up in a hammock chair outside a bookstore. No one blinked. It was just normal, and beautifully so.
That's my kind of seating policy.
And it gets better. Lisbon cafes offer dogs safe pastries, shaded seating, even full pet menus, with treats like fish rice cakes or frozen watermelon cubes.
Now that is fine dining with paws.
In Coimbra and Braga, the neighborhood squares are filled with dogs and people. No fences, no fuss. Just unwritten kindness. And some shops even have signs that read, "Pets welcome, humans too."
Portugal, you have officially won my heart.
It's not just about convenience. It's about connection. When pets are welcome, people slow down. They talk. They laugh. They notice each other.
And the cafes? They become something more. They become community tables, where paws and stories share the same sunlight.
Exactly. You're not just out for a coffee. You're participating in a tiny, perfect moment of shared joy. Pets invite us to be present, and Portugal embraces that with open arms.
Sometimes the most radical kindness is just making space.
And letting everyone two-legged, four-pawed, or feathered feel like they belong.
It's hospitality in its purest form, the kind that starts with a bowl of water and becomes a lifelong memory.
We could all use more plazas, more patios, and more paws at our tables.
Or at least a shaded spot and a cold bowl on a summer's day.
Ava, brightly, wrapping up.
Portugal shows us what's possible when we build spaces with kindness, not just rules.
And speaking of quiet kindness, next stop, we're heading east for a little magic tucked inside the tiniest cafes. All right, everyone. Imagine a table scattered with blank sketch pads, colored pencils, tiny models of houses, trees, hammocks, and little bowls. A banner above us reads, "If you could build a pet paradise."
Feels like we just stepped into the coziest creative studio ever.
And you know what? I think it's time we dream a little.
I'll start. I call it the Countryside Cuddle Cottage. Picture a sun-dappled field in the English countryside. A restored barn with floor pillows, firelit nooks, bookshelves for humans, and hideaways for cats and dogs alike.
Is there tea involved?
Of course! Every day at 4 muffin hour. Pets and people gather for biscuits, belly rubs, and soft music drifting through open windows. Think Beatrix Potter meets Spa Day. Everything smells like lavender and fur.
All right, top that world. I present to you the Porch Penthouse Lounge, a rooftop sanctuary overlooking the city skyline. Lounge chairs for pets and people alike. Sun lamps, shade sails, heated floors, paw print pools. Aromatherapy in every suite. And at night, a rooftop jazz hour. Cats stretch out on velvet cushions. Dogs sip pup tinies from bone-shaped glasses.
Luxury meets loyalty.
Okay, my turn. I dream of the village of forever friends. A mountain-ringed village where every cottage houses a pet and person duo. Communal gardens with butterfly paths. Shaded reading benches. Weekly story time around a fire pit tailored for pets with calming voices and warm blankets. And therapy barns, where animals help people heal and people help animals thrive. No one is lonely here. Everyone belongs whether you walk on 2 feet or 4.
Okay, but I want Oliver's rooftop jazz night inside my cuddle cottage. Just once a week.
And I'm importing Ava's butterfly trail to wind through the penthouse spa.
Only if I get to borrow Emma's tea biscuits for story time.
Deal, but you're on tea-making duty. Every dream we just shared has the same heart. Safety, joy, rest, connection.
And the belief that pets deserve spaces that love them back.
I think maybe we just drew what love looks like, with 4 paws and open doors.
Whether it's a rooftop lounge or a rocking chair on the porch, what matters most is who shares it with you.
And maybe a really good snack menu.
And space for healing, for dreaming, for wagging, purring, and being fully at home.
And speaking of dreams becoming real, our next stop is all about turning those sketches into real-world spaces. Episode 3 Pillows, Paws, and Patios Around the World. All right, friends, imagine a cozy round table, a soft globe in the center, and little felt paw prints trailing across every continent.
And all around us, tiny reminders of our journey. A miniature porch swing, a cafe water bowl, a village mural, and one very loved toy mouse.
In front of each of us, there's a card. It says, "If the world made space for every pod."
Emma, softly, smiling. If we imagined this whole planet as one big neighborhood, what would it take to make every animal feel safe and welcome?
I'd start with every shelter looking more like a home. Natural light, soft places to rest, music playing in the background, volunteers greeting every animal like an old friend, not a number.
And I'd love to see every school have a compassion corner, a quiet space where kids could read to a therapy cat or walk a rescue pup as part of their learning. Emotional literacy taught paw by paw.
I imagine community-wide care networks, feeding stations, vet care, shared foster homes. Every town would have a pet haven hub, a place where animals could rest, heal, and find connection.
I see cities differently too. Public transportation with designated peat zones. Parks with hydration stations built right into the walkways. Imagine a subway car with cushioned carriers and leash hooks, and no one rolling their eyes.
And laws that start with empathy, not punishment, not exclusion. Global policies that teach compassion first. So no pet anywhere is treated like an afterthought again.
Maybe the world won't change overnight. But what if it started with one porch, one bowl, one welcome?
And we keep adding. One school, one shelter, one city.
Until kindness is just part of the architecture.
Planet Earth, the pet edition. Doesn't sound so far off, does it?
It sounds like a place I'd want to live, where paws are welcome and love has no leash.
Where pets are family, and family is forever.
And speaking of paws making waves, next we're meeting the real people and pets who are already building that better world.